Hello guys, welcome to this video. My name is Aditya Raj and I am someone who is interested in eco-friendliness. In this video we are going to talk about how a typical normal person undergoes a transition phase from a sort of traditional way of living towards an eco-conscious way of living. It is not a switch but a transition. So, coming to the initial stage, first you perhaps realize from there are multiple topics which can increase your inclination towards becoming more eco-friendly. For example, climate change or the philosophy of veganism or any other thing. If you find yourself here, first of all, that the onus let us clarify that the onus is not solely on citizens or consumers. The reason why I say this is because governments or authorities also have a role to play. We live in a network where, due to some regulations, due to some regulations, you are not able to make the transition. For example, in Delhi, if you try to ride bicycle more often, you'll find yourself in trouble because the roads are meant for the cars and the roads don't really allow people to ride bicycles very safely. Or I was reading an essay the other day which talked about how existing regulations regarding coral reefs now stand in the way to save coral reefs from bleaching due to warming of the ocean. So it is a global problem. We need global cooperation for this. Authorities have their own part to do, and so do we, citizens, consumers. Let's talk about contributors. Like, if you look at your carbon footprint, what does it consist of? What are the contributors? How your consumption habits shape your carbon footprint, what you eat have a role to play, how you commute, how you move within a city, or how you move internationally. Your fashion, yes, whether you thrift, whether you buy second hand clothes, or you buy branded clothes, or you support some brands which are eco friendly, vice versa. And energy. How much energy do you consume? Do you live in air conditioned spaces, etc.? A lot of things, factors come into play. Let's move ahead. So, in the middle stage, when you are trying to make that transition across various sectors of your life, you look for substitution, right? You look for alternatives, what you can eat. There's a common saying that the more resources you have, resources by and large money, the more carbon footprint you'll be having. If you'll have more money, you'll travel by airplanes and you'll probably not use public transportation. That's another thing. Let's come back to substitution. There's very tested studies that switching to a vegan diet is more healthier for you and healthier for the planet. How? Because meat eaters, the land that is being used right now for farm animals, due to demand from meat eaters and non-vegans, that land is massive, right? And it is not the most optimum use of that land. If we switch, obviously not everybody is going to switch, but there are studies that say you can use way less land and feed the same population by just switching to a vegan diet. And there's also other philosophies of veganism that people tend to not support exploitation of animals, etc. Different ways, same destination. So what you eat has a major role to play. Commute. Now, this is also important, how you move. Let's say you want to go to the market to shop something. Whether you use a bicycle, whether you book a cab, whether you use a combustion engine vehicle or an electric vehicle, all sorts of things. And Then topics like decarbonization and electrification of transportation comes into play, and governments have a role to do here, major role. After that, fashion, what you wear. I'm also trying to make a transition, like I'm trying to buy more eco-friendly clothes, support brands that are doing the recycling and reuse thing, like switching to more eco-friendly shoes, etc. Energy. Now, energy is a very broad topic, right? No matter what you consume, what product, goods or service you consume, production of it, transportation of it, manufacturing it, and then even, you know, end of life. At every stage there's energy involved. So this is a bit complex thing to critically analyze for a consumer. It's a bit complex because you need to do life cycle assessments. So authorities and researchers have a major part to do here. Bliss stage. Now, what I mean by bliss stage is after you have become eco conscious. What I mean by that is whatever you do, you're trying to reduce your carbon footprint. Some point, this is a long journey, right? Not a switch but a transition. At some point of time you are going to feel that weight on your shoulders, that it's tough, or you're not finding any good alternative. So for that, let me tell you that this is known as climate anxiety or anxiety in general. When you're seeing there's also a meme that goes by, I'm using paper straws, but celebrities are flying in their planes from here and there. But let me reassure you, what you are trying to do here is a good thing. It requires moral imperative. So thank you. And let me tell you, if you are finding it hard to find an alternative to any product, the best thing to do is using what you have, right? Instead of, let's say, if you use what? If you have some clothes, okay, that are not vegan and you're looking to switch, every product has carbon emissions involved at every stages, right? Production, manufacturing, transportation, emission. So the best thing to do is use what you already own, consume less, and use every goods or service, squeeze every value out of it. That is the crux of what I'm trying to say. And what the point, some points I've written here is advocate, solar punk. By advocate, I mean that talk about these things with your friends, families, relatives. I'm also doing this digital publication. I also hope I inspire some people and educate some people to make the switch towards a healthier planet. Solar punk. Now, solar punk is a concept which is an alternative to what some industries offer, that is commonly known as the dystopia of cyberpunk. Now, whether it is a dystopia or not, I don't know. It certainly has its trade-offs. But I like the idea of a solar punk city more where humans live in harmony with nature and not instead of exploiting nature. And the last point is eco-conscious. What is a big step is just being eco-conscious. Even if you are not able to switch your eating habits, consumption habits, if you're not independent enough, just being eco-conscious will help you in long term. And also at a philosophical level, if someone asks that why do we need a healthier planet, why should we make the switch, just why? I don't know.